Hi everyone, this is Inkai from StickEm. He will be introducing his company.
So StickEm is a Singapore-based edtech startup. We started 4 years with the goal of making STEM education or STEAM more accessible to everyone. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, which is basically under the category of robotics, coding, DIY making, math, science, all kinds of stuff. So the reason why we wanted to make it more accessible is because Lego robotics, as most people know, is very expensive. And to me, it felt like if I could make something that was lower cost, more creative, and is accessible to more children, then more people can grow up to become problem solvers for the future.
So thanks for coming down. I understand you just came in from Indonesia. What do you guys do there?
So in Indonesia, what we did was we call it teacher train the trainer workshop. And the idea is that we find a partner school or like a partner, local partner, and we get them to organize teacher training for teachers from as many schools as possible. So this school called Aura et Labora met us at some Singapore conference, and it was very random because they were passing by our not even our booth. We were just squatted at some random booth at the conference, setting up for a competition pitch. And then after that, suddenly they came by. They were looking behind us, like, "Oh, what is this booth behind us?" It was Lego booth. So they were asking stuff, and then I was like, "Oh, this is Lego, but I have something better than Lego." Then obviously I start introducing StickEm, and yeah, just like that. When they went back to Indonesia, they contacted us, and then they were like, "Oh, can we discuss more?" And a few months later, like 2 3 months later, they organized 20 schools. They invited 20 schools down, around 100 teachers, and yeah, we did a workshop. So it took 3 hours, and the idea is that the workshop enables the teachers to understand what STICKEM is, and it also shows them that STEM is not very complicated. That it's actually quite easy. You just need the right tools and the right mindset. So we did that. It went very well. The teachers really liked it, and yeah, I think that's the gist of it.
So I understand that you guys just opened a Cambodian section, right? Or was it a while ago?
A while ago,
What do you
yeah.
guys do over there as well?
So in Cambodia, the girls, so it's a bunch of high school girls. They came to SP Singapore Poly for some overseas exchange program, and they used StickEm because Mr. Roger Chun, he he demoed StickEm, and then he made them build robots and stuff, like a little workshop. So through that workshop, the girls were like, "Oh wow, this is fantastic. Maybe we can bring this back to Cambodia." And they did. When we went back, they contacted us also, and they're like, "Oh, we're interested in working to bring this to Cambodia." So we're like, okay, we're not doing anything in Cambodia, no plans yet. So yeah, you can set it up. So they set up a stickem.kh account, Stickem Cambodia, and then they started to reach out to schools, do trainings, and they're like our Stickem team there, Stickem Cambodia.
So if anyone that needs any sticker related things, you can just contact him as well
Yes.
on his website. So anyways, backtrack to let's say 2020, 2021. What made you wanted to start building Chopstick Robots? What's the vision behind it?
So as I mentioned, the vision is very simple. Make STEM education accessible to everyone. Because yeah, Lego is really expensive. Schools in general, even in Singapore, but especially outside Singapore, they don't have access to very basic materials that we have. In your primary school, you have like computer lab, right? Yeah, schools outside of Asia, I think 95% do not have computer labs. Science experiments, physics apparatus. These are things that we're very used to. And when it's not working fully, we're like, wow, this sucks. But in other countries, they don't even have this at all. So if it works really well in Singapore, we're able to visualize topics, learn about these topics through hands-on activities, then yeah, why should a kid overseas not have the same opportunities? And how can we make this like fair for everyone? So that's how StickEm came about. A very low cost STEM kit, which is using chopsticks and 3D printed connectors. A very simple plug and play board. We put all those together in an all-in-one kit. So we don't have like many products. We just have a one kit, and with that one kit, you're able to do all kinds of robots, experiments, and stuff. We also pair this with curriculum because something else we identified is that in Singapore, teachers are very well trained. Like they go through a lot of training before they actually start teaching. But overseas, it's just another career, another job. So if the teachers are not passionate, we cannot expect them to conduct these by themselves because they got no budget, they got no time to pick up new things. So we created this whole curriculum for them, 40 plus lessons, so that all they need to do is just access our website, our portal, and they have access to the materials plus the lessons. And yeah, we hope that this will make it more accessible to all kinds of teachers.
But why do you guys first target schools rather than, let's say, direct to consumer in the public or like that kind of stuff?
So good question. I think direct to consumer is a very tough game because in a home with a kid, let's just assume it's an average kid, not some kid who really loves them. I'm fighting against billion-dollar companies like TikTok, Fortnite, Clash Royale, Supercell. These companies have R&D research like budget of like millions of dollars to suck up all the attention of the kid. And I feel like right now where we are at, StickEm is not able to compete on that plane. Maybe they can, yeah, if a kid's really interested, obviously they will use it a lot. But if not, I don't think we are engaging enough right now to be able to beat these companies. So we do in the school because in the school setting, the kids are in the school already. They need the lessons already. It's just that there's no better alternative compared to StickEm. So I think it's a fairer playing ground.
When you came out with the idea on the first time, what did people say about it? Were there a lot of doubters? Were there a lot of people who supported you?
So people always say entrepreneurship is tough and like, people will doubt you. Luckily for StickEm, the idea is quite easy to understand because everyone knows Lego, right? Everyone knows building kits, everyone knows toys. So I think when we first started StickEm, there was not much doubt. Even right now, there's not much doubt that it will work. It's just a matter of how well it will work. We don't know. Yeah.
What advice will you give for like entrepreneurs who are just starting out and trying different things?
Just starting out, I think learn as much as you can. So really expose yourself, partner with people that know much more than you, and keep running pilots. So keep testing your product. Make sure you find a good business model. Obviously, you can get grants and stuff, but it's always best to find a paying customer and figure out what business model works for you.
I understand that most companies has like some magic behind it. So let's say if you have like Dropbox, someone uploading 100 megabytes is their magic to retention. Or like let's say on Instagram or Facebook, you connect with 10 friends and you're stuck there forever. Yeah. What's the magic moment or the eureka moment for Stick'em users when they first start?
The magic of StickEm is building their first robot. So if you ask someone to build a robot, to them it's wow, I cannot do that. It's electronics, it's mechanics, all kinds of stuff. With StickEm, we've made it so simple to start building a basic robot, like a basic square robot that when I do a workshop, any workshop I do, the first thing they do is build the robot. So after they build like a tall tower or catapult, like a simple warm-up challenge, immediately they start building the robot. And I think the magic is in the robot building because the moment you build the robot, you connect everything, you connect to the app, and you press move forward and it moves, right? There's that sudden, oh wow, I can do this myself. This is not like a far away concept and I don't need to do like hundreds of hours of training to teach my students this. This is actually possible right now. So yeah, that I think that proof that you if I can do it, anyone can do it, especially my students. I think that's the magic of StickEm, seeing that yeah, I can do it.
I honestly completely agree with that. Just now I plugged it in and like the moment it started moving, I was just like life changing and like
No instruction manual, right?
yeah,
It just worked immediately.
yeah. I went to a website, connect Bluetooth instant. It's like so
That's
amazing.
the magic of StickEm. Like
Mm.
it's very self-explanatory. The barrier to starting it or figuring out is very, very low. What we want to accelerate is the problem-solving process. So if you have a problem, let's say the tripod's not working, or you need a phone stand or microphone stand, just build it with StickEm. You don't need to buy it or use tape, all that kind of stuff. Just build it with StickEm. And then next time you have a bigger problem, build it with StickEm. And then eventually you get better at problem solving that you don't need StickEm anymore. But the thought process is still there on how to solve certain problems.
It's like how a kid like learns everything with Legos and building blocks, maybe like
Yes.
Minecraft as well.
Yeah.
So what are the core beliefs or like the mantra that you have when building Stickum?
Mantra. I think not clear mantras, but the directive is always very simple. Keep the product very simple and easy to use. Keep the cost low enough where it's accessible. So it's a volume game. So instead of selling to 10 schools at $10,000, we sell to 1,000 schools at $100. Just an example. I don't know if the math adds up, but basically play a volume game. The margins are not crazy high, but we're doing 10x more schools than Lego can reach. Because if I go to Cambodia, all the public schools or the mid-tier private schools are not able to reach to get Lego, right? Quite so expensive. But with Stick'em, a low enough price point, these are 10 times, 100 times more schools that yeah, could possibly use Stick'em. So it's more of a volume game.
So you guys key optimizing metrics would be impact rather than like revenue growth and
Scale.
scale.
A large scale, yeah.
Mm. So what kind of plans do you have for expansion beyond currently?
So right now we're looking for distributors. I think spent the first 2 3 years building the product really well. Now that the product works very well, we need to increase revenue. So yeah, finding distributors, finding alternative business models, partners overseas to work with. Because Singapore is only so little schools, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to find more schools overseas.
So I think this will be a question that a lot of people will have in their mind. You managed to raise a good sum of money, high six figures, was it?
Mid to yeah, 300,000.
300. Oh, damn.
I think it's a public figure,
You
300,000.
guys managed to raise 300,000 without selling any equity.
Yeah.
If someone wants to do that today, what advice will you give them? Or how do you guys do it?
Mm. So I wouldn't recommend it. Because we've raised 300,000 in grant money, competition money. Um, sure you can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it because I think it makes you reliant on grants. It gets you very comfortable with, maybe not having a super strong business model. So if from the start you are able to just develop the product at a very low cost like we did, we never invested any of our own money. So at the start we developed our MVP just with like maybe like $100 maximum of our own money. We just use resources, maker spaces, everything Fab Lab available to us. So yeah, I think grant funding you can go to, the biggest one and most popular one is National Youth Challenge. That one's pretty great. We also got funding from the Philip Yeo Initiative by NUS Enterprise. We have funding from where else? River Hong Pao. Just small competitions here and there. The good thing about Singapore startups is that there's a lot of capital available to you. You just need to be able to know where to look and also yeah, kind of do the paperwork to get the grants. But yeah, there's so many resources available. So if you say that you have no funding or cannot make it in Singapore, I think that's a sign of your startup not being hungry enough.
That's true. So if you were to make a lasting impression on somebody, let's say someone sees this podcast or sees you once and never sees you again, what would be the thing you want them to remember?
Um, good question. This is like a philosophical question.
I think it could be, yeah.
Mm, I think to me, something I've been thinking about a lot recently is that in the education space, it's very hard to look at the traditional business models because the reason why everything is remaining the same in education is because everyone sticks to the same traditional business models, like startups at least in education. So yeah, I think it's time to change that and figure out something new.
So where will you see your company in 5 years?
So I don't know if it's 5 years exactly, but I know that the end goal that I want to hit is that StickEm becomes such a household name, not household, but school whole name, where it's very synonymous with STEAM. So it doesn't need to be StickEm, but the idea of this this idea of chopstick robots, low cost robotics that all the schools around in the area are using and the kids love a lot. I think we want it to be that iconic. So yeah, just the idea that we can make STEM accessible to everyone on a wide, long infrastructure, um, how to say, on a very large scale. So you know how like those pendulums you have in a school, like this is like a very basic apparatus that you have, right? Yeah, I want StickEm robots to be part of the robotics slash ideation prototyping. Um, yeah, when people think of it, oh, we can use that thing we keep seeing around.
Is this like an open declaration of war on Lego's education department?
Yeah, I think Lego is great. Like Lego is great if you have money.
Yeah,
But
that's
if you
true.
don't have money, then oh, sucks for you. You cannot really experience the fun of building Lego. So that's why I want to be the Lego is the top 10, maybe like top 40% of people want to be the remaining 60% and the top 40%.
I understand this was during my secondary school years where we used like this like Lego Mindstorm. I think
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
tried before.
That's what I'm talking about when I say Lego. Lego Mindstorm is Lego Robotics.
We've used like a lot of EV3 and then like one set's
Yeah.
like what $500,
Yes.
right?
So with Stick'em, I always make the price point very clear. This is almost 10 times cheaper than Lego. So a Stick'em kit's around $80. A Lego Mindstorm kit goes from 500 to $800. So at 10 times cheaper, we're able to do the same thing that Lego does. We have more features. We can build a massive tall tower with Stick'em. You can't really build a tall tower with Lego because the parts are quite small.
Yeah.
So that's why we want it to be flexible. We want you to be able to cut it up. We want you to be able to stick cardboard on it, stick paper, which people are doing lah. When we do a workshop, we bring extra materials like we take it or go to your recycling bin, take out all the bottles, plastic cans and everything, and just have it on the table during the workshop. And yeah, we'll encourage the participants to build more crazy stuff.
Have you played with Lego Techniques before?
It's too expensive. I wasn't rich enough to buy Lego Technique, but I know about it. Yeah, what
Yeah,
about it?
do you think you will expand into those kind of things?
I hope not, because maybe I'll change my mind. But so far, I feel like if we expand into that, it has become too technical and too out of reach to most teachers. Because Lego Technique, most people that are buying it are kids that really like Lego, right? Yeah, and I think vast majority of kids don't really get to that stage.
How about like for like gifts, that kind of stuff? Okay, I mean it's
It's
good.
possible, yeah, it's possible. But right now, no lah. Yeah, but D2C definitely possible when we start selling to consumers.
What kind of advice will you give for somebody who doesn't have any idea what startup to start, but they want to like do something big like what you have done?
Mm. So I think yeah, startups are a very hot thing now. Entrepreneurship is a very hot thing. The issue is that a lot of people think about it as I want to start a company, I want to start a company. But when you think of I want to start a company, I think you're going about it the wrong way because first you need to understand what kind of problem you want to solve. And if you want to build a lasting startup, you cannot just find a problem. You have to find a problem you really care about and that you can not eat, not sleep, and not, yeah, just really grind hard on it. And the only way to find that out is through experience. You have to experience things, internships, work on projects, so that you can really, really find out a problem that you care about, and it gets you waking up every day like, okay, let's start. Let's do this. Yeah. So if you don't have a startup idea yet, you want to get into entrepreneurship or startups, just I would say if you're a student, don't waste your holidays, playing games or hanging out with your friends. I mean, sure, hang out with your friends, but also have something meaningful to fill in the 90% of the time. Don't spend your time on TikTok scrolling, watching YouTube, Netflix. Those are not productive. The information is going in, but it doesn't need to go in. You don't need that information. So
It's not being
yeah,
processed into something more
exactly.
valuable.
Yeah, and once you have a startup, right? Sure, you can process a lot of more information because that's output, right? You're creating something after that. But if not, it's just very meaningless consumption, which is not really productive. So yeah, if you want to start, do get experiences. Either work on projects that might be interesting, volunteer. I always tell people to volunteer because even volunteering, you see a lot of stuff that yeah you don't normally see in your community.
So another question I have is because for me, right, I'm going to NS next year. What kind of advice will you have for someone doing a business and moving into NS? How do you maintain such a business during NS?
So for me, I have ADHD. I think it's very well known. I'm very public about it. So with me being very open about my ADHD, I also declared it at the start. So I told them straight up that I've been diagnosed with ADHD for like many years, and I cannot do clerical duties or anything that requires administrative things. So I think after I told the MO, when they were posting me, they put me to school 5, which is where a lot of special needs people are, and they train clerks there. So we're not combat fit. I'm not allowed to hold a gun in NS. I'm excused from firearms, grenades, live firing, and stuff. I think that was also partly why I was able to do so much during NS. Because right now in NS, in my office, I have a triple monitor setup. And then like, I just do work the whole day. And I don't know anyone else who has a better arrangement than me. So that was also like partly making your own luck because I was able to get closer to Clementi Camp, which is like right here. And I live like 5 minutes away from camp if you drive. So yeah, declare the ADHD. If you're anxious about anything, maybe declare that. If you're depressed, declare that. And yeah, you can kind of control where you get posted to. If you get posted to school 5, your life will be a bit easier as a clerk because you have access to a computer. So if you can bring a laptop into camp, you can continue working on your business. Unfortunately, it's a roll of the dice lah. So a lot of people also they get posted to infantry, armor, all those things where the whole day they're standing in the hot sun, and by the time they're done with the day, they're really tired and like kind of burnt out. Yeah. So
Speaking about your ADHD, how has it really like changed your life as compared to like an ordinary student? Is there like a exact moment in your early life that you just realize, hey, this is something I have and
mm, I think an accumulation of moments. So as I was in secondary school and primary school, always getting into trouble. Didn't test very well. Only for PSLE I tested pretty well. But it was accumulation because I slowly realized that, you know what, I suck at math. I can't do A math for shit. But what I can do really well is build a really good robot, or very creative robot, or very creative prop solution to a problem. And there are competitions available I can go to. And these might not be counted towards O levels, but it builds my portfolio. It allows me to take EAE, which I did. It allows me to take DSA, and there are alternative paths lah. So with my ADHD, I think my understanding of it is that I'm not good at executive function things like task planning or that, but I'm very good at being creative, coming up with solutions on the spot, and figuring things out very quickly, and gives me a lot of energy also.
Knowing that your main reason for doing this is Lego was too expensive, right? Were you from a robotics CCA?
I was. But funnily enough, I was never really involved much because I was always suspended and on probation because I was a very bad student. But I think my urge to fix that was not from being in Lego Robotics, robotics CCA. It was from much younger in primary school where I used to build a lot of things. Um, and then because I was always building stuff, I could see the value of how it allowed me to develop assistive technology. So technology that allows people with disabilities to open a door, drink from a bowl. Very common stuff that you and I can do every day. There are people with disabilities that cannot. And because I had exposure to STEM very early on, it allowed me to understand how to solve problems for these people. And I felt like it was so important that I can teach a kid and develop the empathy in them, the skill set and the empathy on how to solve these things step by step. So I think, if I could build a company like StickEm, which is very accessible to everyone, and also get them interested in solving problems, real world problems, then maybe we can make the next generation of children better problem solvers.
So speaking about the things you have built from young, what kind of stuff were those?
Oh, a lot. I've built flamethrowers, like the Last Airbender,
Is it legal?
Avatar. I think so. I don't know. Who knows? Uh, I built tasers. I used to sell tasers in primary school. I've made this arm-mounted chameleon grabber. So when I click a button, it shoots out a claw to pick up stuff. I built a lightsaber, a flaming lightsaber. So it shoots out methanol like this long, and it's like flaming, so you can actually like pass through things. I built all kinds of stuff like it's I can go on about it. I like to make a lot of stuff like it's always funny stuff. Robots. I even built chopstick robots before StickEm. Like I used to use barbecue skewers to make like underwater robots for competitions. Yeah. So the creativity was always there, I think. And now I'm trying to use that mindset of, always solving a different problem with StickEm for kids.
This was when you were in primary school, right?
Primary and secondary, yeah.
Oh my god.
Even after graduating, I still build stuff.
The most interesting thing I made in primary school, I think it was like an extendable duster. Literally, selfie tripods. Put it on the duster and I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
that in
yeah.
primary school.
That's innovation. Putting existing things together is part of the innovation process. I think a lot of people think that innovation means creating something completely new, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel or whatever. You can take existing things that work very well. For example, I did a underwater robotics competition where to build a robot that can submerge and then swim around. And off the top of your head, what would you think when you want to make a underwater robot?
Probably something like wrapped in, like, I don't know, a glass bowl or something that won't get wet.
Exactly, something that won't get wet, right? So my first thought was, oh, I can take a Tupperware container, drill holes into the side of it, put the motors, and it will work. And it did. So it's stuff like that. Like
How do you prevent like waterproof it? Blue tack?
we put cotton pads and everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's always like getting creative lah. Stuff that exists already. A Tupperware, motors, put those together, and you get something that can solve the problem that you need to. Obviously, when you grow up and become an engineer, you can't build a submarine out of Tupperware. But the thought process of solving it creatively, I think, is very important to develop at a very very young age, so that when you grow up, you can keep up the momentum of problem solving. Yeah, resilience lah. I think resilience.
Do you see a future where Stickum is global, and how different would the base products be from then to now?
So StickEm is supposed to be global. Singapore is not our main target user base. So small, right? Indonesia is like 100 million people, so it will be global. About how that product will look like, the one that's global. If everything goes well, it will look exactly like this right now. Because we've developed this to be as simple as not this. This is a quite old kit, but what we have right now is not too different, but it will be almost exactly the same. Very simple to use. The magic is there for the teachers to to understand and use. It's just that it's on a larger scale. Yeah, and maybe alternative business models where we're able to give a cut to teachers or give a cut of the sales to schools, which we're testing a bit of now, so that they can get the economic benefits and not just a distributor who's reaching all the schools. Because with StickEm, I think there's like a network effect kind of thing going on where no teachers know teachers, right? Schools know schools. So if we can somehow monetize that network effect, I think it will allow us to spread much quicker to schools. Um, yeah, something I need to figure out.
Do you guys like localize depending on regions?
No, so our content right now, it's all the same format of challenge-based learning, but yeah, I think we're able to translate quite easily slides. So translating, yes. Yeah, local contextualization, I don't think so.
I understand that you guys built the dojo like 3 years ago, right? What is can you elaborate further on what that does?
So StickEm Dojo is not done yet. It was a concept we pitched a long time ago. Now we're building it. The idea of StickEm Dojo is to engage B2C. So a child who likes to play Clash Royale, maybe we can get him to do challenges on StickEm Dojo and tell him to build the tallest tower and compete against a kid from Indonesia within 15 minutes. So I can start a challenge and then I can take part in it against a bunch of kids overseas. That's the idea of StickEm Dojo lah. It's a dojo where you can practice your skills and get your problem solving up and ready.
Okay, so in continuity with our tradition we have here, the last person has left a question for you, and you're gonna leave a question for the
Okay,
next person
I've seen this before.
with no yeah, we kind of stole this idea, but it's
Yeah.
okay. The question is, what would you have done differently if you could do everything all over again?
Oh, thanks, Ernest. Great question. Is by Ernest?
Yeah, it's honest.
Ooh, what could I have done differently?
Actually, yeah, two questions, but I'll tell you that after the cameras are cut.
People ask me that often, but I usually don't have an answer because with Stickem, I feel like we've been so lucky in everything going so well. Um, maybe understanding myself better earlier.
But is it luck though?
I would say it's luck. I obviously you make your own luck, right? You optimize for your luck, everything. I do believe in that. But I think there has been a very big element of luck. For example, most people their first company they start flops, right?
Yeah.
But with Stickem, the idea, if you look at like drawings, the initial drawing of Stickem, right, 4 years ago on paper, the first piece of paper I ever touched to draw the idea, it looks exactly the same as how it looks right now. The connectors are there, the chopsticks are there, the board is there. So I would call it luck that, or maybe or visionary or whatever that the original idea was so clear to me that yeah we need to make it simple, low cost, easy to use, plug and play. That we didn't have to pivot at all. I would call that quite lucky lah. I wouldn't call myself a visionary or whatever. Yeah.
I think it's the regarding the luck thing, I think it's also setting up yourself in like knowing where to receive the luck.
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, like life is like waiting for bus. The bus will definitely come. You just don't know what time or when yet.
yeah. Sam Altman also said there's ways to maximize your luck. So take part in, like I said, take part in more competitions. If you take part in only one competition, the chance of winning is only one. Take part in 10, it's the chance of 10. Apply for grants, talk to customers. This is something I think we got very used to very early on, is that just you want to maximize your luck, talk to everyone, and whoever answers, answers. Obviously, you need to optimize how you're talking to people and reaching out, but yeah, you need to get out there. So yeah, the answer to your question is like more of a non-answer, is that I don't think I would change much because yeah, we've been quite lucky. The one thing I was gonna say was that maybe um I would get better at like communicating with my co-founders. And then yeah, understand myself better, my shortfalls, and figure out how I can cover my ass. Because I think I was too reliant, or still even currently I'm quite reliant on my co-founder to handle like spreadsheets or numbers, number crunching and stuff. Which is not good because it increases his stress and his workload. Yeah, so maybe I should have started that earlier to avoid conflicts.
Speaking about that, were there any like major co-founder disagreements you guys had?
Mm, I don't think so. I think well we were quite aligned on where the company wanted to go.
So if you wanna follow Stickem on their socials,
So Stick'em socials is stickem.sg on Instagram. Our website is also stickem.sg. If you want to check out what we do, I think our website is the best place. We just revamped it. So you can go to our gallery, you can go to partnerships, news, and you'll see all about Stickem. On LinkedIn, I post quite a bit about what we're doing in real time. So my LinkedIn is just Chong Kai, and yeah, you can check it out and see my thoughts on education or social entrepreneurship.
All right, thank you very much.